Real Madrid have just put €150 million on the table for Julian Alvarez. That number alone should tell you everything about where Arsenal stand in this summer transfer window. The Gunners are operating in a market where the biggest clubs in the world are moving fast, spending big, and making their intentions clear. And Arsenal, fresh off a Premier League title and a Champions League final appearance, are now caught in the middle of a summer that could define the next chapter of this club. Let me take you through everything that is happening right now, because there is a lot to unpack, and every single piece of this puzzle matters for what Arsenal become next season. Here is what you need to understand first. Arsenal did not just win the Premier League and reach a Champions League final by accident. This was a team built carefully, signed intelligently, and managed with a clear vision. But winning changes everything. It changes your profile. It changes the attention you attract. And it changes how other clubs look at your players. Right now, Arsenal are not only trying to strengthen their squad, they are also fighting to keep what they have built. Real Madrid are calling. Clubs in Turkey are opening official negotiations. Italian giants are circling. And the players Arsenal are trying to sign are being chased by Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid at the same time. If Arsenal get this window wrong, they do not just stand still, they go backwards. And that is the real story here. If you want this level of analysis on every major Arsenal story this summer, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel breaks down exactly what is happening and what it means for Arsenal. Do not miss a single update. Let us go through every story one by one, clearly separating what is confirmed from what is still a rumour and giving you the full picture on each situation. Marcus Rashford, here is what is being reported. Arsenal and Chelsea have both been offered the chance to sign Marcus Rashford. Manchester United are growing frustrated with Barcelona's current stance on the situation. Both Arsenal and Chelsea have been made aware of Rashford's availability as Manchester United explore every possible avenue. Now here is the important part, and I want to be very precise about this. At this stage, interest from Arsenal and Chelsea remains exploratory. No concrete proposals have emerged. This is not a transfer that is happening. This is a player being made available and clubs being informed. My analysis on this is straightforward. When a club of Manchester United's size starts making a player available to multiple clubs at the same time, it usually signals one of two things. Either the player's situation at the club has become impossible to manage, or the selling club is trying to create competition to drive up interest. The frustration with Barcelona's stance suggests there was already a preferred destination that has not moved fast enough. Arsenal being in this conversation means they are being considered as a viable option, but the lack of any concrete proposal from Arsenal's side tells you that this is not a priority move for Mikel Arteta right now. Arsenal are monitoring, not pushing. Morgan Rogers was asked directly about transfer rumours and whether they affect him as a player. His response was calm, measured and mature. He acknowledged that the first time transfer speculation surrounded him, it was uncomfortable. He said you are in a spot where you do not fully realise how much interest people have in you, and that takes adjustment. But then he said something that reveals a player who has grown significantly. He said that 95% of transfer noise is just that, noise. He said you hear it, you cannot help hearing it, but you have to use it in a positive way. You get on with your game and you focus. My analysis here is this. The way a player speaks about transfer rumours tells you a great deal about where his head is at. Rogers did not dismiss the links. He did not fuel them either. He was balanced and professional. That kind of response from a player who is linked with Arsenal suggests he is in a good headspace, focused on his football, and not being distracted by speculation. Whether a move happens or not, Arsenal would be getting a player who clearly has the mental maturity to handle the pressure of a big club environment. Riccardo Calafiori. This one is significant, and I want you to pay close attention. Real Madrid made a phone call to Riccardo Calafiori's agents and also contacted Arsenal directly to understand whether the Italian defender is available. Real Madrid have him on their list. At this moment, there has only been an exploratory phone call, and it is not yet clear whether negotiations will progress. Now here is the detail that matters most in this story. Mikel Arteta likes Calafiori a lot. Arsenal do not want to sell him. Calafiori himself is very happy at the club. And Arsenal are expected to want significant money to even consider any conversation. But here is the reality that every Arsenal fan needs to sit with. When Real Madrid call, you have to listen. That is just football. No player, no agent, no club can completely ignore that. Calafiori being happy at Arsenal is genuinely positive news. Arteta valuing him is even better. But Real Madrid's interest is now officially on the table, and that changes the dynamic whether Arsenal like it or not. My analysis is clear. Arsenal must handle this carefully. The fact that Arteta publicly rates Calafiori and the player is settled at the club gives Arsenal a strong negotiating position, but complacency would be dangerous. Real Madrid are coming off a summer where they have already been active in the market, and if they push hard with serious money, Arsenal will face a genuine test of their ability to retain key players. Hold firm, Arsenal. Do not let this one go. Matheus Fernandes. Arsenal are among the clubs monitoring West Ham United's Matheus Fernandes ahead of a potential move this summer. This is not just Arsenal's interest, however. Manchester United are already in active talks on the player's side. Paris Saint-Germain have made contact. Real Madrid have also been in touch. West Ham value the midfielder at roughly double what they originally paid. They spent £38 million plus £4 million in add-ons to sign him, so they are now looking at a figure somewhere in the region of £80 million to £84 million for a sale. Despite that high valuation, a sale is still expected to happen this month. My analysis on Fernandes is this. When four clubs of this calibre are all circling the same player, it tells you the player is genuinely special. Arsenal are monitoring, which at this stage means they are gathering information but have not committed. Manchester United being already in talks on the player's side is a significant detail, because that means United have moved faster into the personal terms conversation. Arsenal are behind in this race right now. If Arteta's staff believe Fernandes is the right profile for the midfield, they cannot afford to stay in monitoring mode much longer, while United and Paris Saint-Germain are actively engaging. Nico Williams. Arsenal continue to hold strong interest in Nico Williams of Athletic Bilbao, and the Spanish winger is firmly established as one of their main attacking targets this summer. Here is an interesting development around this story. Williams' value has dropped this season because of long-term injuries that have significantly disrupted his progress and limited his output. My analysis here is nuanced. On one hand, a drop in value can create a genuine transfer opportunity for a club like Arsenal. If Williams' price tag has come down from what it was at its peak, Arsenal may now be able to secure a player they have tracked for a long time at a more accessible fee. On the other hand, the reason for that drop in value, which is long-term injury problems, requires serious scrutiny. Arsenal's medical and scouting team would need to be completely satisfied about the nature of those injuries and whether they are truly behind him. Signing a winger who has been plagued by injury concerns without proper medical assurance could be a costly mistake. The interest is real. The opportunity may be there. But due diligence is absolutely essential. Baris Alper Yilmaz. Arsenal are reportedly preparing an offer for Galatasaray winger Baris Alper Yilmaz. The 26-year-old had an impressive season, registering 22 goal contributions across all competitions, 10 goals and 12 assists. He is valued at around €50 million. He is described as a versatile attacker capable of playing on either wing or through the middle, and he is emerging as a potential attacking target for Mikel Arteta this summer. My analysis. 22 goal contributions in a single season is a serious output number. That is not a player flattered by a good run of form. That is consistent, sustained production. The versatility point is also important for Arteta's system, which requires attackers who can rotate positions and cover multiple areas. At around €50 million, if the valuation is accurate, that represents reasonable value for a player at the peak of his powers at 26. This feels like the kind of profile Arsenal have successfully targeted before, a player proven in Europe but not yet at the extreme elite price bracket. This one is worth watching closely. Piero Hincapie. Real Madrid are reportedly monitoring Piero Hincapie ahead of a potential move this summer. The Ecuadorian defender impressed during Arsenal's title-winning season, offering versatility across the back line and becoming an important squad option for Mikel Arteta. Arsenal are expected to complete his permanent signing, and any interest from Real Madrid would therefore require formal negotiations with the club. My analysis. This story has a similar shape to the Calafiori situation. A player who performed well in Arsenal's title-winning campaign is now attracting attention from the biggest club in the world. The key fact here is that Arsenal are expected to be completing a permanent deal, which means the intention from the club's side is clearly to keep Hincapie. Real Madrid monitoring a player is not the same as making a bid, but given what we have already seen with Calafiori, Arsenal need to move quickly to finalise the permanent transfer and remove any ambiguity around Hincapie's future before Real Madrid's interest has time to develop into something more serious. Leandro Trossard. Besiktas have opened official talks to sign Leandro Trossard. The club's president, Serd Al-Adali, has personally initiated official contact with Arsenal regarding a move for the Belgian winger. Trossard is described as one of Besiktas's priority targets as they search for a left winger. My analysis. The fact that Besiktas's president is making direct contact with Arsenal suggests this is a genuine and serious approach, not just an informal inquiry. For Arsenal, Trossard's future is an important subplot to this entire transfer window. If he is being offered elsewhere, it raises real questions about where he sits in Arteta's plans for next season. A player being linked with a move to Turkey, regardless of the club's size, is typically a signal that the selling club is open to a conversation. Arsenal have not confirmed any willingness to sell, but the opening of official talks is a meaningful development. Watch this space closely. Gabriel Jesus. Juventus have identified Arsenal striker Gabriel Jesus as their leading target to replace Dusan Vlahovic this summer. The Serie A giants are monitoring the Brazilian closely. Arsenal are reportedly valuing Jesus at around £18 million to £20 million amid growing uncertainty over his long-term future at the club. AC Milan are also interested, but Juventus are currently viewed as the frontrunners to secure Jesus' signature. My analysis. The valuation Arsenal have placed on Jesus, £18 to £20 million, is a significant detail. At 29 years of age and with questions surrounding his long-term future, that valuation suggests Arsenal are prepared to move him on if the right offer arrives. The uncertainty referenced around his future is the key phrase here. This is not a player Arsenal are fighting to keep. This is a player whose chapter at the club may be drawing to a close. For Arsenal, the priority is getting clean value in any exit and using that money to reinforce in the areas Arteta needs most. A clean £20 million sale for Jesus would represent reasonable business given his injury history and the squad depth Arsenal now possess. Julian Alvarez. Now let us move to the biggest story in this window for Arsenal, Julian Alvarez and the extraordinary situation developing around him. Real Madrid declared publicly that they submitted a bid worth up to £130 million or €150 million for the Argentina international. Atletico Madrid flatly rejected that offer. Atletico's president Enrique Cerezo then spoke publicly and made the club's position completely clear. Julian Alvarez is not for sale. The club does not want to sell him. That message came from the top of the organisation. The reality is even more complicated for Arsenal. Alvarez himself is believed to be keen on a move away from Atletico Madrid, and if he were to leave, his preference is understood to be Barcelona, who have made him a top summer target and have also recently signed Anthony Gordon from Newcastle United. Arsenal have been watching developments from afar alongside Paris Saint-Germain, but their chances of a deal are described as very slim, particularly now that Real Madrid has put such a significant offer on the table. The implication is clear. Even if Atletico's position softens, the minimum price in any future negotiation will be what Real Madrid offered, €150 million. That would be a club record fee for Arsenal by some distance, shattering the £105 million spent on Declan Rice in 2023. Alvarez is also currently dealing with an ankle injury he picked up against Arsenal in the Champions League semi-final. He is focused on the World Cup with Argentina, who face Algeria, Austria and Jordan in Group J. My analysis on this story is direct and clear. Arsenal were never realistically in pole position for Alvarez. The combination of Atletico's firm refusal to sell, Alvarez's personal preference for Barcelona, and Real Madrid setting the financial floor at €150 million makes this an almost impossible deal for Arsenal to complete. The financial gap between what Arsenal have spent as a club record fee and what this deal would require is enormous. Pursuing Alvarez at that price, particularly when his preference is elsewhere and the selling club insists he is not available, would not be sound business. Arsenal's energy and resources this summer are better directed at targets where there is genuine movement and genuine possibility. Viktor Gyökeres add-ons. The second article covers Viktor Gyökeres and the add-on payments now due to Sporting CP following his debut season in North London. Arsenal signed Gyökeres last summer for an initial £55 million. The deal included bonus payments worth up to £8.5 million. Here is how those bonuses break down. Every time Gyökeres hits 20 appearances where he has played 45 minutes or more, Sporting CP are due €1.08 million, up to a maximum of €4.31 million. He made 55 appearances across all competitions but played 45 minutes or more in 44 of those games. That means the 20-game threshold was triggered twice, generating around €2.16 million in appearance bonuses for Sporting. On goal contributions, Sporting receive €430,000 for every 20 goal contributions Gyökeres reaches, up to a maximum of €860,000. He scored 21 goals and registered 3 assists, meaning the threshold was crossed once and Sporting bank €430,000 in this category. Finally, Sporting receive an additional €860,000 because Arsenal have secured qualification for next season's Champions League group phase. In total, Sporting CP are set to receive approximately £3.88 million in add-ons from Arsenal following Gyökeres' first season. My analysis on this is purely positive from Arsenal's perspective. Yes, money is going back to Sporting CP, but look at what Arsenal got in return. A player who made 55 appearances, scored 21 goals, won the Premier League, reached the Champions League final, and is now at his first World Cup with Sweden after personally firing them to the tournament with 4 goals, including a hat-trick in the playoffs. The add-ons being triggered is not a negative story for Arsenal. It is a reflection of the fact that Gyökeres delivered. Every milestone that cost Arsenal extra money was a milestone that contributed to the most successful Arsenal season in many years. That is the definition of value for money. When you step back and look at everything happening around Arsenal this summer, a clear picture emerges. This is a club that has arrived. The Premier League title and the Champions League final appearance have placed Arsenal in a different category of football club, and the transfer market is responding accordingly. Real Madrid want Arsenal players, Italian clubs want Arsenal strikers, Turkish clubs are in official talks for Arsenal wingers. And the players Arsenal want are being chased by the wealthiest clubs on the planet. The challenge Mikel Arteta and the sporting director face is not simply about who to sign. It is about managing the full complexity of a window where you are buying, selling and protecting at the same time. The Julian Alvarez situation shows the ceiling of what Arsenal can realistically achieve. The Gyökeres story shows that smart, structured deals can deliver extraordinary returns. And the Calafiori and Hincapie situations show that success brings new threats from clubs with far greater financial power. Arsenal are in the arena now. And every decision made in this window will tell us whether they are ready to stay there. That is the full picture. That is the analysis. Stay with Tessa Arsenal Analyst for every major development as this summer window unfolds. Hit subscribe so you do not miss a single story.